This is going to be a great video for anybody that is in the process of hiring a logistics company, because we have Laura Croak here, who has been in logistics for 15 years, runs your own company, LC Innovative Logistics. So when somebody's hiring a company, though, there's questions that you can ask that kind of let you figure out if this person's legit or not. So what are some of the questions that people should consider asking when they're in that position of hiring a logistics company?
So the first one you want to kind of ask is, how long have they been in business? How many employees do they have? So if they've been in business for a month or a year, you might want to question, okay, well, how many employees do you have? Basic company information. I mean, you can look it up on, any website or just Google their information, but I always will look at, companies that I work for, I always will Google who is this company? How long have they been, an actual organization, and how many employees do they have?
What's your second tip as far as hiring a logistics company? What's the question?
So as a company, you know where you're shipping from, where you're going to. So for a logistics company, what areas do you cover? So like my company, we're based out of Buffalo, but we cover more Midwest and West Coast. We do stuff in the Northeast, but we cover kind of everywhere and international. So if it's a company that is only in the Northeast and your company is in Texas, you might want to rethink about using that company, that logistics company, only because they're not going to get carriers that are going to be priced correctly because they're sourcing from outside of their network, basically.
Yeah. And do you find it like if somebody, like the first question you're asking and like they have like a smaller company and they're like, we're international, like, but we have one person.
Right.
Like you're like, maybe you're not kind of thing. So
yeah, exactly.
You kind of consider that as well.
Yeah.
What's a third question that you can ask if you're looking at hiring a logistics company?
So without getting into a ton of detail, you want to know what that logistics company offers. So what type of trucking do they offer? So there's less than truckload. You see your FedExes, your XPO Logistics, UPS or T-Force. You see all those different companies. So you want to know, do they cover less than truckload, or are they just a truckload carrier that carries full trucks? Flatbed carriers, I can go on. You want to know what types of trucks that they specialize in. So if you're a company that only ships like brick and installation tubes and those long tubes and everything, and you need those on flatbeds, you don't want to go to LTL carrier, a less than truckload carrier, because you know that they don't have flatbeds. So you want to know what they specialize in. So researching is big. Go to their website, see what their logistics services are.
Yeah. And I would assume like that's one that they really can't fib on, because it's just like, what kind of trucks do you have? And then they show up and they don't have those trucks. Then it's just like, well, that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I know we got a couple more questions on here. What's another tip that you can give somebody as far as hiring a logistics company? Like, what's a good question that you can ask?
How many customers do they currently have? So how many are they currently servicing? So that's going to be huge. So if they have 50 customers and there's only 3 employees, how important are you going to be to that company?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So find out how many there are and how many larger companies they are.
Do you think there's like a good ratio? Because you said, like, let's say it's 60 customers and 3 employees. So then you got 20 companies per employee. Do you ever think of things in those terms or no?
Yeah. You could.
Probably depends on the size of the clients,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, it depends. So if out of those 60 companies that you're shipping with, or 20 or whatever, maybe some of them only ship like once a quarter.
Yeah.
So you want to find out, how many customers they have, how frequently do those customers ship, where on that priority list are you going to be?
Yeah. Okay. And then last tip that you have for hiring a logistics company?
Who are their after hours contacts?
Okay.
So if you have an emergency or you have a shipment that, you need help with, and you need to contact somebody to find out where it is, always find out if they have an after hours number. If it's just, you can contact me, get their email, get their cell phone number, get everything you possibly can, because you never know when an emergency is going to hit.
Yeah, and I would assume with that one too, if they have kind of like a weird answer like that, where they're like, well, you just call me. Like maybe it's something where they're not even answering after hours.
Yeah.
And then of course, you have some big issue hit, you got to have it taken care of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I know for your company as well, and I've mentioned this in other videos, you do invoice audits. So if somebody's already working with a logistics company and you're looking at hiring a new one, you can actually take an old invoice and send it to your company. There's a link in the description below, and you guys do those for free, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very
Definitely.
cool. So if you'd like to, there's going to be a video on the screen that'll walk you through what an invoice audit looks like. So we'll catch you in that next video.